gonna carry the pot out.
It's not a pot. It's just a little kind of like wet burlap sack just holding
I
this
got you.
moist
It's
soil.
like I know what you mean. Like you would get at the like at a feed store to plant, like a plant starter.
Except
For
it's,
what it's
it's
worth.
like sopping in your hand.
For what it's worth, Florian is mesmerized by this plant
Okay,
and this
well,
new information.
It's
I will
very
give-
attractive looking.
do you want the plant? Like,
And Florian thinks about it a lot. Doesn't say anything until they're really close to the barge, and he says, "Yes."
and then Gus is gonna look at him. Yes, what? What? You've just been silent for the last 20 minutes. Yes, what?
The
What's
plant.
going on?
Yes, I would like the plant. Are you not
Okay.
paying attention?
He's like, it's a good plan.
They're good plans.
How did that research roll go?
Question though, Brickard. Since I am going to Tylesnus Apt,
Mhm.
it does say that I get advantage in if I have access to a well-stocked library or knowledgeable sages.
Oh yeah, this would definitely qualify.
Okay. Take a +1 bonus to this now because I threw a little extra money into this. And where is Lucius's brain stat? Lucius's brain stat is right there. We're looking at a 19.
Okay.
Which that gives me 2 pieces of lore. Actually, well, that's over a week. I'm sorry.
You get a bit of history on here. Let me actually bring up the region map again. I can't decide what map
Okay.
I want to have on the table.
It's fine.
There's a little story behind the village that was once in the forest. It was a gnomish village that was often, or it's said it was often visited by fey spirits. Traders would go in and out, not frequently, maybe 3-4 times a year perhaps. And on one of these visits, merchantmen went into the forest to the village to find it had been completely obliterated. Every building was smashed and broken. There were great weeping sores. There were no vegetations remaining. And the only bodies that they found were blackened and charred by fire. Although it was clear that the surrounding trees had not been burned down. The village well was completely dried up. And so the merchantmen, one of them, the wealthiest of them, hired a diviner to go out on an expedition to the village to spend some time to determine what happened, to see if this was perhaps a sign, an inauspicious portent of something that might happen to other villages in the region. The diviner determined that the village was destroyed by a falling star. And then a week later, the diviner's shop in town was destroyed by a falling star. A rock fell out of the sky, destroyed the roof, and killed the diviner. How true this history is unknown. This supposedly happened over 100 years ago.
And Lucius is kind of nervous at the idea of kicking over this rock because what's going to happen to our barge next?
Here's what we know about the forest, though, surrounding the tower. There's very strong connections to the Feywild. And it's known that cartographers that go into the area draw incredibly accurate maps. It's like there's a sort of divine inspiration, like there's a cartography muse that hangs in the area. So that's what you learn during your days in Tylesnus Apt. You probably see some evidence of these maps. Probably some of the men you've spoken to have gone on a sojourn to the area, drawing incredibly detailed maps of coastlines or wilderness areas. That's what you learn.
Anything of the forest itself?
That is the nature of the forest itself.
Okay.
You go to this forest, you camp out there while drawing your map, and comparing it to other maps of similar regions, yours is the most accurate. It is a geographical wonder.
I'll sketch a copy out of one of the books of the area and bring it back.
Alex, you were spending the day crafting?
No, I chartered that boat, but then I remembered something we really need to do. I am going to bring this body to the family of First Full Penniless.
Right. I almost forgot about the body.
I didn't. I had a little note, like, tomorrow morning it was going to start to stink.
Remind me how this guy was killed, like, physically?
I think Lucius put a hole in him.
Yeah, Lucius shot him because the woman was killed by a lightning bolt, I believe.
With Eldritch Blast?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, blunt force trauma. Is force damage blunt force trauma, kind of?
Yeah. Well, it, like... You know how in, like, the Fantastic Four, the Invisible Woman can throw force shields that move you around? That's force damage.
Right. But, like, in everything
It's
I've
moving
ever seen...
different parts of your body at different velocities.
Yeah, it definitely manifests as blunt trauma. It's just there's not an instrument involved in doing it. It looks like it came out of nowhere.
Gotcha. That was more my question. Like, what does that actually look like on a dead body?
I've always thought of, like, grenade in a swimming pool.
Remember, it's not the fall that kills you, it's the sudden stop.
I'd like to point out that in the far future, when Seeker dies, I think that falling star from the heaven is how he's also going to die.
How do you present this this body? The place you're going is called Grey Barrel Manor.
Okay.
The current head of House Von Church is Lady Linos, and she's essentially the head of the Guild of Barrel Makers in Dunfoss. This is the family that Percival Penniless was thrown out of.
Lady what?
Linos. Unmarried, middle-aged woman now. Older than Percival by maybe a couple of years.
And do we know how this person was related to her?
Probably not specifically.
Okay.
So, I mean, we're just throwing the body on a cart and rolling it up, or are you going to send a message that you have this body, or how are we going about it?
Do I know which church they attend? Can I find that out easily?
They are practitioners of the Temple of Ostrom, but the Temple of Ostrom doesn't really hold regular services as such.
Is it possible for me to get like a low-level acolyte of Ostrom to come along with me? Like I tell him, hey, I found this body of an important follower of yours. I'm going to go present it to the family. I think that there should be someone in proper, whose role it is to actually deal with these things properly. Because I was raised following Gargoyle, so
You have two options here because there are two temples of Ostrom in Dunfoss. One is
Okay.
in the Temple District proper.
Yeah.
And there's what's called the Outer Temple in Dwarftown.
I'll go to the Wharftown one.
Okay. Do you tell them what family?
Yes.
The acolyte that you speak to here, there's not actually a priest in this in the Outer Temple. It's a group of acolytes. And you speak to what you believe to be the oldest one there. Middle-aged man, balding, fat. Looks like his vestments have gone a couple days without being washed. He tells you he's going to confer with his brothers if you'll wait a moment. The body at this point is on your barge, correct?
Right, and I have done my best to, preserve it, but
Okay.
I'm an archaeologist, not a doctor.
And he gathers around with some of the other younger acolytes of the temple near to... there's not like a proper statue or anything in here. There's a raised dais on which is a pedestal, which they're kind of gathered around at the moment. And they speak for a few moments, and every couple minutes this fat acolyte looks over the group back at you. And then he comes back. And you're looking for somebody to go along with you when you deliver this body to the family. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, maybe perform any rites that they might need, just like, I feel like this is something that is a little bit outside of my wheelhouse.
You're not trained in religion, are you?
No, I don't believe so.
Make an insight check.
Sure. It's 9.
9. Does that come out to a 9?
Yeah.
All right. He tells you that the tenets of Osprum are such that the body should be relinquished to the temple so that it can be properly seen to and then consigned to the ocean. This will have to be done a little ways out to sea so the current doesn't just drag it back up into Wharftown. And
Right.
when that is done, then the duty falls to the acolytes in the temple to inform the family of the discovery of the deceased.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I'll go back to the boat. I'll strap the body to Scrappy and I'll bring it over.
Okay, and they accept it.
And we'll never hear about that again.
Never again. And is that it for everything that's happening on the day of the 5th?
Yeah, I think we.
Yeah.
The evening of the 5th, you receive this response to your sending.
Okay.
Hold on.
I'm
read.
just going to double count this to make sure.
Hey Gus, did you take the 80 gold out? Do I need to money launder that?
You could just put it like under information gathering, right?
Don't worry about how I money launder it. That's my job. Just do I need to put an 80 gold paid to someone in this
Yes.
ledger somewhere? And should that be an expense that we want to look like we can deduct from our taxes?
So that's up to you.
Okay.
Because it is to a crime
Yep.
boss.
Okay.
So I'll read the message and then I will paste it
Okay. All right. Cool.
in the Discord and in the Twitch chat. Aednoth line, long dead. Rakshasa, banished by wooden crossbow bolt, blessed by sincere priest of any good faith. Hundigars in Market District makes great wings.
Oh god, I'm thinking of Undergars before we leave tomorrow.
That's 25 words, I do believe.
No response to the other fiend expert.
Possibly, but she only had 25 words.
And she's
Nailed it. It be Undergars.
right. Yeah.
I send her another sending and I say, we were talking more like tieflings without wings. Here's another 25 words. Go nuts.
So the day of the 6th, you have your meeting with the Pawns.
AM or PM?
Typically it's been in the morning, but you could probably
Okay.
defer it if you want.
No, that's fine.
Too bad Kevin's not here. I'd send him to get some wings.
Where did we send Kevin again?
To
War.
war.
To war.
Oh, right. Yeah, he's not going to be back for a while.
If we rescue the little girl, we can use her as an interim, like
Interim intern?
interim intern.
Is Seeker just like sitting there with an empty coffee cup, like trying to will it full?
Seeker has been casting prestidigitation to make his coffee cup taste like coffee, and then just
Seeker. It's the third lever on the left, then the second gear on the right, then you crank this for 4 seconds.
Last time that gave me tomato soup.
Yeah, I really don't understand why you had to upgrade the kettle.
You
Wait.
you crank it counterclockwise.
Oh,
None of us
cranked
even.
it. I cranked it 3.5, and it just started putting out all this steam.
and mayonnaise.
None of us even.
I am reminded. I don't know if you guys read SCP Foundation at all, but I'm reminded of a device in one of their articles that can give you any liquid you ask for. And somebody went up to it and put their glass in and asked for a great cup of Joe, and then a guy named Joe in the building collapsed.
Yeah, no, we have that. We have that in our kitchen. Yeah,
All right, fair enough.
definitely.
And
Like, none of us even like cappuccinos. I don't know why you upgraded the coffee. Like you ruined you used our good kettle for this.
I like how you guys put her response in the message box here, and you included the part about the wings.
Listen,
So what are we telling the Ponce on the 6th?
We're telling him the information that we found about the tower and that we're looking to mount an expedition, and last time he seemed willing to fund one.
Okay.
We wanted to.
What do you tell him you need for this expedition?
I mean, look, the ship tickets were 20. The passage is 25 gold. If you guys want to cover like rations, like that's maybe another 25 gold. But I don't feel like we need anything special other than that.
We
Mostly thinking from a perspective of this is just going to become debt. So
Okay.
let's get that out of the way
Across
first. Is he
the time.
tacking anything he gives us onto our debt, or is he paying it out of his own pocket?
Oh no, he's tacking it onto your debt.
Second question. Last time he sounded almost like he wanted to tag along. Is that actually happening?
No, he has no desire to go to a haunted forest.
He was drinking
the
that
set.
time.
However,
Right.
he doesn't tell you that in direct terms, because he would never admit that he's not up for adventure that he's not up for.
He's too busy.
Right.
I mean, the only thing that like Gus can think of that we would need is covered by Alex, because he's got a bag of holding and we've got a mechanical pack animal essentially, and he's got a bag of holding. So like storage is like anything that we want to take out of there is covered. So like, we could probably loot the entire tower itself into that frickin' bag of holding. One brick at a
well, it's
time.
carrying a lot of supplies right now, but
Yeah,
A significant portion of the tower. Alright, so yeah, it sounds like we're pretty good on supplies. We've got our own sources for that stuff. We just wanted to let you know that we were setting forth on this expedition, so if you need to get in touch with us, that's where we're going to be.
When are you
get-
setting forth?
I mean, I was thinking we were going to go today.
Yeah, we're thinking about today. We just didn't want to not show up to our meeting.
Okay.
But we're leaving the flying pigs. I'm not saying this in front of the others, but if you're saying today and then afterward, Lucius is like, I thought we were settling this flying pig stuff first.
yeah.
That's what my impression was.
By the way, Seeker.
Yeah.
Gus is like back on the Savatsa Rakshasa
Train.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm back on that train because of the whole like hallucinogen thing.
Look, I can build multiple crossbows. We've already got one.
Right. A question, Brick. Did he actually tell us the name of this plant? Did the gentleman actually tell us the name of the plant?
Let me go to fantasynamegenerators.com.
Plant generator. There you go.
I actually had a name for this plant a long time ago, and I thought maybe you guys would spend $50 on the information. But that's lost in my...
Would have made my Rakshasa idea sound a lot better to everyone.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, when you
lost
put
to my
that
notes long ago.
When you put that information out there, yeah, Lucius is back on board. Yeah.
It's called a river cabbage.
There you go.
Okay, great. That's a
Excellent.
euphemism.
A river cabbage.
The other option, which I hesitate to say, because as soon as I say, everybody's going to be like, why did you decide on river cabbage? The other option is a fake Jack in the Bush.
I like
I
a
can see
river
why you
cabbage
wouldn't
more.
do that, but
A
no,
chip.
river cabbage is definitely the winner.
How about a
A
whomping
chub.
rock fern?
A chub cabbage.
Oh, I'm sorry, a whomping what?
Rock fern.
Goodness.
Too much?
Fantasy name generators is it's a lot.
See, your problem is you went to the plant name generator and not the drug name generator.
Well, you were handed a plant, not a drug.
Right.
Once we grind it up, then we go to the drug name generator.
Right. Did he tell us the name of the drug?
I'll let you name it. What did he tell you?
Oh.
The cabbage. Hey man, you got some cabbage?
The old cab.
Are you floating the cab?
Yeah, this is called cab.
All right,
River
The drug name generator is not good.
You got it.
It's not good.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Mistress, knockout, paste. Like, come on.
Those are some Shadowrun.
It's called
Drug
cabbage
names.
paste.
Cabbage
Cabbage
Yeah,
paste.
it's pretty
paste.
Shadowrun
Yeah.
right there.
Are you a cabbage
Cabbage
paste kid?
Yes.
Oof.
That wasn't worthy of an oof. Come on. So what is the price you settle on? How much gold do you request that the Ponce add onto your debt? So you
Oh,
can
it
make
doesn't sound like we need any.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like we
Yeah.
need any.
Okay. He seems very excited by the prospect of this. And you're looking to leave today?
Well, hold on, because if Lucius didn't have that impression, then that's something we would have cleared up
Yeah.
before this meeting.
Okay.
So, Lucius, what were you thinking?
A week.
Do you guys want to say a
Yeah.
week?
I mean,
Yeah,
what do we
because
want to do in town for next week?
Sometime in the next week. Like, well, okay. So, are we going to shoot? Are we going to shoot Savat with a wooden crossbow bolt?
If we're gonna stay in town, I'm going to be trying to find where that drug is being brought into the town.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm going to be doing some divination work, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
So,
I'm going to spend my time building an additional. Who all here can use a crossbow other than me? Raise your hand.
Light
Every-
crossbow, I think. Hold on.
They're simple ranged.
I can use a heavy crossbow.
Simple weapons.
Wow.
Yeah.
Florian can. All right, so 5. So I need to build 5 crossbows. I've got 1. All right.
I think everybody can use at least a hand crossbow, because I think they count as
No,
simple
the
weapons.
hand crossbow I think is exotic. I think it's the
Is it?
Yeah, it's martial. It's the light crossbow.
Marshall.
That's
Yes, the
yeah,
light
I
crossbow.
actually
All right,
have a
cool.
light crossbow.
1
but I
heavy
stole
and
one.
3 light. Got it.
you can do the light too, like just to get it out of the way quicker. It's like it's not that.
You don't
big
need to
a
make a
deal.
light for me. I've got one. We were raiding a house and they had light crossbows and I took one.
Who are we getting to bless this bolt?
Is
I know a
okay.
guy.
Okay, is
Okay.
Gold even like a good god?
He's lawful,
Lawful
good.
good god of trickery, baby. That's Greyhawk.
I think the key word in this statement is sincere.
Well, sincere about their faith. I
would
trust
assume
them
he'd
to be
be
sincere about their faith,
good
just not anything else.
How much of a practical joke would it be to only pretend to bless the arrows and then send us into battle?
That wouldn't be lawful good.
Because we would be telling them why we need these things.
Where are you procuring wooden crossbow bolts that don't have tips? 'Cause typically,
Yeah,
a
we
crossbow would have a metal tip at the end, some kind of arrowhead.
I assume that's something that Alex has absolutely no problem building.
Okay.
I mean, would it be like? Can't we just get regular crossbows and like get a saw and cut the?
It's a little bit more finessed than that, but yes, I can definitely get you completely aerodynamic crossbow bolts without a tip that are properly weighted. That is not a problem.
Okay.
Right,
Okay.
you just the tip gone. Yeah. Gotcha. So, what is Seeker like? Like, what does Seeker even have like to look divination wise?
Okay, so divination wise, I can look for specific types of items with locate object. So I'm going to locate this plant, getting far away from this plant, like the nearest source of this plant, because apparently it's been being brought into town. Once I have a location, I can then start using clairvoyance.
Well, can you? Do you have enough information to look for just the powder?
Yeah,
Powder made
If you
from this
can-
plant?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, dried petals from this plant.
I mean, the powder. If it's easy enough, if they have the powder, I can look for the powder instead. That's
Right.
simple.
Yeah, because that seems like it'd be easier.
Are you going to destroy this plant and make the powder?
No, because then I'd find it.
Florian wants to destroy the plant powder.
Until you destroy the plant and actually make this powder, it's not an object that is familiar to you.
Okay, if we need to destroy the plant and make the powder, Florian, am I okay to crush this plant?
Yes.
Absolutely. Feel free to use my lab, Florian.
So, do you have any magical means of drying out these petals? We're going to wait for it to happen naturally. Like, press them in something.
Do I have a way I could do that alchemically?
That'd be a question you'd have to answer, I guess.
I mean, like, can I make an alchemy check to see if there's a alchemical... Can I make a tools alchemist's kit check to see if I can figure out a way to do that?
Sure, that's fine.
Florian has burning hands.
That would burn the plant.
Huh.
Can we put it in, is it like a cell phone? Can we put it in a bag with some rice?
Some rice.
And then, so that just becomes a 10. 17.
Okay. So the traditional way to do this would just be to pluck the petals, lay them out flat, like in a book with no ink, a book with blank pages, and close them. And this process could take up to 2 weeks or so. You're thinking you can alchemically treat the pages of a book to reduce that time to as little as 2 days.
Let's do it.
You're gonna make
How
a
much are the components for that going to cost?
I wouldn't say more than a gold or two.
Sure. I'll just knock off 2 gold.
All right,
Magic
then while you're
dehydrator.
doing that, I'll use that 2 days to look for the plant itself, and then if I can't find the plant, I'll look for the powder.
And I'll be manufacturing crossbow bolts.
A magical dehydrator. We're gonna come back and Florian's gonna be making. He's gonna have
Sure.
like jerky and
In the book.
The jerky.
Book of Endless Turkey.
Where are we searching for this plant in the city?
I think the most obvious starter town place is
Or
let's start with, because I think I've got a 1,000-foot radius. Let me check this 1,000 feet.
Just to simplify things.
I think I can choose a district basically.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that would simplify it greatly.
First day Shallows, second day Wharf Town.
Okay. No hits in the shallows except for the one flower that you know about. In Wharf Town, however,
Where is the theoretical Rakshasa located again?
in Wharf
It's
Town,
about smoke shop.
He is town. Okay.
Yeah.
let me get the Wharf Town map back for you. Okay, in Wharf Town, there is a livery stable here where they have a small family garden. You see a plot. Just you're kind of almost outside of town proper. Like if you go another few thousand feet in that direction, you will start to see some more open gardens and things. And then a couple more miles out, you start to see actual proper farmland. But this is where they do business with housing and selling and raising horses. And they do have a small family garden plot. And you get a hit from your spell emanating from their plot. From the road, looking past their house, past the stable out to where their garden is, on the other side of their fence. Openly, you can't really make out what they're growing. You do see some wildflowers and things, lots of weeds. What looks like posts put out where like tomatoes could grow around. And you don't see the flowers from the road, but you definitely got a hit from your spell.
Okay. In that case, I want to. I've got a range out of a mile on clairvoyance. I think I just want to go back to the barge and then cast clairvoyance to examine the area, to examine that garden.
Is the barge within a mile of the outside of Wharf Town?
We're in the shallows, right?
No, you're in Wharf Town when you get this hit.
No. We are in the shallows. The
Yes,
barge.
the barges. I actually don't know if you're
I
within.
thought a mile was like 2,000 yards. It's 17,000. It's 1,760 yards.
Yeah, the problem is, we do have a skill.
I think
here.
I'm
There we
good.
go.
Yeah, I'm more than good.
So casting clairvoyance, what do you do? What's the plan?
I'm going to put the sensor looking for sight in that garden, and where I sense the plant.
The garden itself is not particularly well tended. But you do notice some kind of anemic-looking vegetables that the family is growing just for their own purpose. They're clearly not doing a business with this. Nobody's in the garden at the time. And in the back, you see two kind of partially dilapidated wooden structures, like one of which may have been an outhouse, or maybe they both were. One of them, the door is like somewhat broken. You can tell that it's kind of dangling on one hinge. The other one has a heavy lock on the front of it.
Bingo. I examine the structure, and then I am going to end the clairvoyance.
Okay.
And I'm going to cast it again, searching for an obvious location that is unfamiliar to me behind that door.
And the bottom of the inside of the structure, which is very tiny, maybe 7 by 7 feet, if that. The bottom is packed with sodden soil, which is... I don't know what Seeker knows about soil, but which is probably not native to the area. It's not the kind of soil that the stuff outside is growing in. And you see one row of these little flowers, none of which have completely flowered, and one of them has recently, with a spade, been removed. So just a divot toward one end.
Okay. So they're definitely growing them here. And it's definitely that house. I think this is enough for me to go to the others with, to let them know current state of the investigation.
Okay.
You'll describe that to Gus, and he'll be like, the gentleman gave us one of the plants from his garden. You found the gentleman's garden.
Is the gentleman in Wharftown?
Yes.
And I say that he's the only source in Wharftown. Well, we know where the plants are.
Huh.
Now let's look for the powders. It's possible that they're just importing the powder, not the plants. Like this, he's not necessarily playing us foul here.
I think you should also check the Whiteheart district, since they were operating out of there.
The Whiteheart district? I can do that.
With locate object?
Yeah, I've got another spell slot for the day.
No hits on such flowers in the Whiteheart district.
And I let Gus know that.
So why don't we go ahead and take a break for 15 minutes? And what we're going to do is basically actions for the 7th and 8th. On the evening of the 8th, your flowers in that weird alchemical book that Alex is putting together will be dry enough that you can start searching for powder. Put a lizard girth on screen here. I'll take the dogs out. You guys can go ahead and get your coffee, get your bagel. And let's reconvene at about 4:20. All right. So over the course of the 7th and 8th, you guys were doing your investigations into finding these plants, and you found them being grown at that livery stable in Wharftown.
Yes.
Starting on the 9th, you're going to search for the powder. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. I'm pretty sure that's just like the gentleman's like private stash.
You could probably realistically search, I would say, 3 districts over the course of a full day.
Okay, let's start out with the 3 that we previously checked: Shallows, Wharftown, Whiteheart district.
And bear with me just 1 second, if you don't mind.
Got it. Just for you.
Got a little bit of that cabbage that bit you.
That wet cabbage.
Riding the cabbage.
I slipped him the cabbage.
Gives whole new context to that guy in Avatar: Last Airbender, right?
Oh, my cabbages!
Okay. I need to get my map open here.
It all makes sense. He was a drug pusher. You've solved it.
Wait, what have we solved?
Airbender Cabbage Man was a drug pusher.
Isn't that just canon?
No, there are no cannons in Airbender. They have magic.
I'm pretty sure.
No cannons.
Like in Korra, I'm pretty sure they have cannons. Yeah.
I think even the Fire Nation has cannons in the first one.
Well, everything
Magic
changed.
cannons.
Yeah, obviously.
What do you do to make sure that you don't get a hit off of your own quantity of powder if you cast this spell in the shallows?
I think the easiest way to deal with that problem
I've got a lead box.
is to put it in a lead box.
I have multiple lead boxes I built for those elemental fire things.
Okay.
So
The
Nodal,
closest quantity is a block away from you in the Gloaming Elk.
Oh, I'm gonna go talk to our potion dealing friend.
Okay. Which doesn't
Did we
take
get a-
long because she's like right next door.
Did we get a potion on Potion Day? When is Potion Day? I forget.
I can look that up for you in just a second. Potion Day was the 24th, so you got one a while ago.
This is an old one, I think.
Oh, this is a really old one. Well, in any event, this is where
It's on there.
the Gloaming Elk
Yeah.
is. Or maybe I just uploaded the wrong version when I re-uploaded some of these. Anyway.
It's fine.
But yes, this is the location of your dryad friend.
Well, secret dryad. We don't know she's a dryad.
True. Her name is Throssi. And her appearance is that of a very demure, maybe almost sickly would be a good word, half-elf woman who's very, very talented when it comes to alchemy and, of course, potion brewing. And when Seeker enters the shop, you guys had done a service for her a while ago, but I had forgotten what it was. Which is why she gives you a potion twice a month.
I think somebody was damaging her shop, trying to burn it down or something.
Somebody
and
was
stop-
going to remove burn down the shop and kill the tree.
and kill the tree. They were trying to get rid of the tree, right?
Yeah.
She bids you good morning. She wasn't expecting to see you for a few days.
And I tell her it's actually more of a business visit.
Very well.
And so we've been, you might have heard our name being floated around. We've been looking into a fiend operating in town, and we found that he might have something to do with this substance. And Seeker will reach into his pocket and pull out the packet of powder. And while trying to look for the source of it, I found that you had some of it. I'm not suggesting that you had something to do with it, with the creation of the powder. I was just wondering if you knew anything about it.
She knows a lot about it. She tells you that it can be very dangerous because it's very addictive and because it's very expensive. Lesser nobles, especially in Dunfoss, have lost their fortunes becoming addicted to this substance. The reason she has some in her... How do you tell her you found out that she has some quantity of this?
I just tell her straight out. I was magically using divination to look for the source of this, and I found that the closest source of it was her shop.
Okay. At that, she produces a small leather snuff pouch. Black leather, beautifully stitched together. The stitching on it is silver, and then embroidered in silver thread on the top of this little snuff box are the initials JG. And she opens it and reveals that there is some quantity of the powder inside, but not much, maybe a pinch or less. She says that from time to time, people will come to her, or go to one of the other less talented alchemists in the city, looking for a cure from this addiction. A cure that she knows how to brew, but one of the ingredients is the powder itself. So a lot of times, she'll have them bring their quantity in with them, which can be quite painful for them for a few days as they go through withdrawals while they had neither their drug nor their potion yet. And this JG is the most recent person that's come in.
Have any of them ever told you a sob story? Like, told you how they got addicted to this, who was supplying it?
She says that some people have tried, but she's extremely disinterested in hearing the troubles of others.
Would it go against your professional ethics to point me towards this JG, or send them a message letting them know I'm interested?
She says that she doesn't know who Jay is. She dealt with his probably father. The house name is House Gwilva. House Gwilva is one of the shipping families in town. Their house is, let me double check here. They have a manor house in, I believe, West Harbor. West or East? West Harbor. She doesn't have the details, but she surmises that his father found out that there was an addiction in the family and is taking charge of the situation.
Okay. If you find out anything else about how it's getting into town, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to... Actually, would you mind if I sent over a box? Would you mind putting your own supply of it in it for the next day or so? So I don't ping off your powder again?
She asks what you mean.
And I tell her that lead is a substance that can make most magics inert, and as such, if she puts her powder in there, I won't be able to find it, and I'll be able to find further away powders.
She kind of straightens up a little bit. Straightens her back and kind of squirrels up her face for a moment. She tells you that lead is a highly poisonous and offensive substance, and she cannot abide having it in her shop. And if you had any sense, you would get rid of what quantity you have as well.
And I nod at her, saying that the lead is dangerous and poisonous. I say, we have an expert who knows how to handle it safely. If you're uncomfortable having it, I understand.
She tells you to beware of the false knowledge held by so-called experts. And she surmises that you're speaking of Alex.
Seeker will nod.
Who actually goes to pick up the potion most of the time? Or do you guys take turns?
I suppose it'd just be to whoever.
Kevin.
Seeker would probably head over at least once every couple months, just because he likes keeping up relationships.
She tells you that she likes Alex well enough, but that his dabbling in gunpowder and acrid substances and in disastrous metals, these magics are not worth pursuing. It's not possible to handle them safely.
In other words, Alex uses too much acid and lead.
Yeah, I'm not telling her about the acid.
Okay, so this would be a question for Alex. Would this woman know that Alex is technically a member of Yulari?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Then she adds to Seeker that it is a testament to how far Yulari has fallen that they have allowed a man of these practices to be counted amongst their number. And she also assures Seeker that this is something she's told Alex before. This is clearly not a secret.
Oh, yeah. No.
I think, and Seeker nods and says, I think Alex would agree with you about the Yulari. Well, I thank her for her ominous warnings and portents, as a dabbler in them myself. And
She looks forward to seeing you back in 4 days when your next potion is ready.
sounds good. We might be out of town.
Very well.
Just as a warning. And
Then she looks forward to seeing Linda come pick
Yeah.
up your potion in 4 days.
Linda's frowning face. And yeah, I think I'm gonna then head on to I forget, Northern Wharftown? Wharftown.
North Harbor. Or West Harbor. Or you're going to Wharftown to cast a spell.
Wharftown, yeah.
Okay.
I was trying to think of the district north of here. That's why north came out.
North, not here. And we're going to have to be more specific on this.
I think I'll position myself away from the gentleman's house, just in case he has a supply of the powder as well.
You don't know where the gentleman's house is.
That house that I found the whatchamacallit on, the plants.
Okay.
Just because Gus's suspicion was that was the gentleman's house.
No, it's definitely not. It's a livery stable owned by a nice... I think they're Fearbolgs, actually.
No, not his house. That's where he's growing his crop. That's my suspicion.
So you know that the numbered areas are the areas that are just common knowledge. These are some of these shops you have visited, some of them you've probably destroyed. Where are you going to be in relation to these numbered areas when you cast the spell Locate Object?
Was Savant's shop? Okay, yeah, 7. I think I'm going to position myself over here, just because it'll get me a good portion of the docks, but also be somewhat near Savant's shop.
Down at the warehouses?
Yeah,
And
like
the nearest ping is definitely Savant's shop.
okay. In that case, I'm going to then. I think this is my best bet. Try to look. Where like. Oh, so it's Savant's shop. It's not the warehouses then.
No, you don't get a ping in the warehouses. It's coming from the Dead Man's Den.
Okay. So that means that it's coming directly there, rather than being held in the warehouses first. Assuming that he has a different source than that house. What did the gentleman tell you exactly, Gus? Did he say that he was also making the powder, or did he say he just had some of these plants?
He said he just kept it for, I don't know if he said personal use, but he said it wasn't profitable
Okay.
to sell because, like, I'm assuming because he deals with mostly like low-level street crime, and you know, your low-level beggar, like junkie beggar, is not going to pay 30 gold a hit.
So this is taking place on the 8th. Is there anything else happening on the day of... Oh, I'm sorry, this is the 9th. Is there anything else taking place on the day of the 9th?
How long does Locate Option last?
A few minutes, I believe. Is it 10 minutes?
I think it's 10 minutes, yeah.
Up to 10
Okay.
minutes.
For some reason, I thought it was an hour.
I have a couple casts of it if you have a reason.
Well, the reason I was like, so you started down here, right?
Yeah.
And okay, you cast it over in this corner, and then up here, and then you get a triangulation. Like, if the only source in this district is Savad's.
No, yeah, I'm with you. I think that's a good idea.
Well, maybe I'll do it back here last, but like over here as well, because we haven't really had any dealings over here. So like getting
Over
scan-
here is Tin Whistle Corner. You guys have definitely had dealings over here. This is where Florian got jumped that night by brigands.
Brigands and ne'er-do-wells.
Right.
Dastardly.
So
I think I'm going to go over here to the north, and that'll be my third cast for the day.
Okay.
So, I don't know if it's going to matter.
Yeah.
But while Seeker's doing that, I hear Hundiggers in the Market District makes great wings.
oh yeah, I'm gonna go with you because I haven't had lunch yet.
Can you bring me back some?
Yeah,
for
Get
the
the
office.
extra spicy.
extra spicy guy. Are you sure they're not gonna be too dry?
Listen.
Ah,
We're
I hope
having
not,
we're
they're
having
wings.
we're having fun with this, but I know it's also very important for D&D to be somewhat historically accurate. So I will say this: I am certain at some point in the Middle Ages, somebody ate a chicken's wing with breading and perhaps a pinch of pepper on it, which they thought were spices. That's my justification.
So
Fair enough.
is it Colonel Hundegger? It's like is it Dunfossian fried chicken?
Are
I
you
will.
implying that KFC has good chicken wings?
Are you implying that a medieval shithole city has good chicken wings?
This is a magical setting, Treble.
Maybe Magic KFC is good. Their potato wedges are pretty good.
So it's going to be probably a few silvers for some quantity of Hundegger's wings. I don't know any. This is a character I literally just invented to have a throwaway joke line in her response.
Important character.
Let's see here. I was thinking. You ever see the movie Silence of the Lambs, where the FBI thinks they found Buffalo Bill? They go to find Buffalo Bill. Starling goes like, "Well, I have these other addresses I want to investigate," and she stumbles into him. That's what I was thinking.
You go in, there's a tiefling behind the counter with no shirt. He's got scars all up and down his back.
You have found me.
All right,
Have
all
at
right.
thee.
If you guys really want to go down this rabbit hole, Hundegger is a tiefling. His shop has a small but very dedicated clientele. And he is basically the Dunfossen soup Nazi. You have to order your wings in a very specific way. You have to specify which of the 4 available sauces you want and in what quantity. And you're not allowed to buy more than a certain amount at a time because of high demand. And he is known for throwing people out of his shop
Oh,
for the smallest transgressions.
Oh, Florian's
Gus-
gonna fail this place.
Gus is standing back and letting Florian do this so we can get a second try after he's thrown out.
Does he have a
No,
blue wormling curry?
That's the kind of question that'll get you thrown out.
Oh god.
You should just handle this, Gus.
Okay.
If you get thrown out, we'll send him.
Does he have like a
Gus in.
menu with?
No,
Of any
you're
kind?
expected to know what's going on.
Okay.
His shop is little more than just this little hot box of a counter with just a store, like just a counter in front of it that you can tell the heat coming back is from where the food is being cooked. You don't even go inside. You just come in on the street and you wait in the little line. And he has got a box with a slot in it that the money goes into. And then he gives you the food afterwards. He's probably got a chicken vendor in town who he deals with.
It's like the chicken equivalent of that like thing where like that meme where he's like, I'm gonna start a grilled cheese truck. You stick $1 in the slot, I give you a grilled cheese.
I love that meme so much.
I'm going to approach him and say, can I have, I don't know, how many wings would feed 5 people?
You're asking him?
No, I'm thinking to myself.
Make an investigation check.
Oh, okay.
60.
Nope, that's 4.
Probably each of you would get 2. I mean, that
so I'll
stands to
order-
reason.
I need
This is not where I imagined my D&D session was going to go today, but this is where we've ended up.
I need
Briggerud, if it makes you feel any better, Lucius was planning on going back to Talisnasapt and looking for more information on Rakshasa.
Oh, good God, thank you.
I need 15 I need 15 wings,
Full flavor, half flavor, no flavor.
full flavor.
And he looks up at you for a second, as if to confirm. Like, sure?
Yes. I was told to bring back the spicy ones.
And then he just jerks his head in the motion of the box.
And I'm going to just slide a gold piece in there.
And he doesn't move.
All right.
And now he looks like he's getting impatient.
I don't know what he's asking for here. I'm sorry. So I'm going to get kicked out. So I'm just going to step to the side and get out of his way.
As you go to step to the side, somebody behind you says, "Psst, it's more expensive than that."
Oh, well, I'll put another two gold. I'll put 2 gold in there.
And at that, the gray-faced tiefling behind the counter shuffles around with his giant tongs, reaches back onto his grill where he's got the chicken spaced out. And you see 2 buckets, and he slops all the wings into the last bucket. It boils and bubbles, and it has this very spicy, acidic smell to it. And when he pulls them back out, and he puts them in what looks like these little hastily assembled wicker baskets on like a little bed of straw so they don't soak completely through. And the hunks of meat are just sopping with this reddish brown gravy. And he stacks them in there. And he slides them across. And then he turns to the man behind you. Full flavor, half flavor, no flavor.
I grab my chicken and get out.
So looking at it, to your eyes, it looks ridiculous because for 3 pieces of gold, you could have bought probably 3-4 live chickens, plucked them yourself, and had access to all the meat, not just these little anemic 2-3 bites per bone, maybe, if you don't break them open and eat the marrow.
Well, I'm going to reach in and hand Florian 1, and I'm going to take 1. And
How do you suppose we eat something like this?
like, I'm just going to bite into it.
But there's bone.
Well, you eat the meat off the bone.
Have you never eaten chicken before, Florian?
Well, yes, but there's
It's
like a
not-
shell on it.
So at this point, I don't have the exact quote, but in the 2nd edition Planescape material, when they describe Tieflings, they talk them about being able to ingest things that other mortals cannot eat.
I was
Minerals
thinking the
and
exact same
charcoal.
thing.
The meat is beautifully cooked, but the sauce is so incredibly, painfully spicy that it completely overwhelms your palate. Lucius, are you doing something more important?
Like I said, I was going to go back to the Lessons app and look for information on Rakshasa.
Now, are you going to go into the libraries to do this research, or are you going to try to ask some of the sages there?
I'm going to ask one of the sages there.
Rakshasa, make an investigation check. And are you spending money, or are you trying to talk it out of people?
I could spend it. I could spend 10 gold on this. I
Okay,
think.
don't make a roll then if you're spending gold on it.
Okay. Yeah.
This is illegal, what he's about to tell you. So he's not giving you advice, because this would be highly illegal. Probably. The major problem with Rakshasa is when you kill them, their bodies disintegrate.
Mm-hmm.
The reason this is a problem is because Rakshasa have an innate immunity to most forms of magic. And whatever this immunity is, whatever it stems from, the biology of it would be incredibly useful for spell components. So, there are stories, and again, highly illegal, but very profitable if you pull it off. If you don't kill the Rakshasa, but manage to capture it, prevent it from using magic to teleport away somehow, without suppressing its other forms of magic, you could, in theory, harvest whatever organ it is that provides this magic immunity, and then regenerate it in order to get access to a supply of these materials, which could make for very, very high-end spell components. Purely a thought experiment. probably highly illegal to keep a prisoner chained up in your basement that you're constantly harvesting organs from. But that's what he says would be the smartest thing to do with a Rakshasa. Highly profitable.
Wizards don't know ethics.
Yeah, Lucius doesn't feel comfortable about doing that, but he's not going to say that in front of the guy.
Other than that, and it'd be really difficult to capture one alive anyway. Much, much more reliable if you're just looking to deal with the fiend, but you'd have to hire a hunter who is especially skilled with martial weapons. Because of their immunity to magic. Nobody in Tylestinus app be able to just roll up and start throwing fireballs at it. It wouldn't work.
Yeah.
However, at no point during the conversation does he mention anything about crossbow bolts.
Okay.
And he's able to share with you visual diagrams, illustrations, a couple of folk stories, especially from across the ocean in Qiscan, where these creatures are supposedly more common. And it's difficult to tell the difference between good magical theory and folklore, where it comes to this creature.
Yep. Okay. Alright. Cool. I think that was still worth the time.
Anything else on the 9th?
I got nothing.
Okay. Lucius,
Yes.
on the 10th, you receive another letter from your father.
Mm-hmm.
Instructing you. Where is the note sheet at here? About Kao, the ambassador from Qiscan, who's supposed to be showing up pretty much any week now.
Yep.
Letter is very short and to the point. The gist of it is that you're expected to find some way to disrupt the ambassador's serpent extracts supply and try to control him through it.
Serpent extract is the drug that his family member is addicted to, I take it?
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, what else is happening on the 10th?
I think I'm going to go to the temple and try to get those bolts blessed.
Okay, Alex, how long does it take you to make?
So I made the bolts in the first day. It takes me 5 more days to build the crossbows.
Okay.
And there are 50 bolts.
50 bolts. What temple do you go to? And is anybody going with you?
I'm going to the Temple of Gargoyle. Anyone want to come?
I would, but I'm busy. Also, I'm a little sick of those guys.
I'll go. I'm not doing anything. Yeah, me and Florian.
Yes, Florian,
Well-
you're with me.
Okay.
Anybody
I thought you said. I'm sorry.
Florian, if you don't want to come, you don't have to.
anybody who ate some of Hundiger's full flavor chicken wings is unable to taste any other food for the remainder of the week.
Okay.
I was
They're
going to
not
say
too dry.
Florian's not gonna
Except
get in
for
trouble
Lucius,
anymore, but
who thought they were absolutely delicious.
I didn't mean to speak for you. I thought you said, "Yeah, I'll go."
no, this is better.
Yeah.
I was trying to avoid trouble, but now trouble's coming to me.
You say treble or trouble?
Both.
Yes.
Okay, so the standard Bless is a first level spell.
Yep.
And you've caused issues for this temple in the past.
I
No.
prefer to think of it as performing religious services.
So, to be clear about Seeker's relationship with Garl Glittergold, Seeker considers himself an adherent of the religion,
Yes.
but not an acolyte of it.
Right.
Not like a trained cleric. Okay.
Gus is going because he expects at some point they're going to attack Seeker and try and kill him just to be rid of him.
To be clear, though, the reason Seeker doesn't consider himself an acolyte is because he thinks if someone tried to teach him how to do it better, he would do it worse.